Miracles in unexpected places. Welcome to Life Tells Stories, a channel where we bring you deeply moving and transformative narratives that touch the heart. Each of these stories is a lesson in life, reminding us how kindness, fate, and destiny intertwine in the most unexpected ways. Today, we have a story that will challenge your beliefs about life, power, and what it means to truly care for someone. Are you ready to be inspired? Before we dive deep into this emotional journey, let me ask you a question. Have you ever experienced an act of kindness so profound that it completely changed your life? If this story resonates with you, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement helps us bring more life-changing stories to your screen. Ethan Harris was the epitome of success. A self-made millionaire, he had built his wealth from the ground up. With his cutting-edge tech company leading the industry and his mansion filled with luxury, it seemed like Ethan had it all. But despite his vast wealth, he found himself in a battle he couldn't win. His wife, Sophia, had been diagnosed with a rare and degenerative illness, and her condition had steadily worsened over time. Despite the best doctors, the finest treatments, and endless money spent on medical care, nothing seemed to make a difference. Each night, as he came home from a long day of work, Ethan would look at Sophia, lying pale and frail in their luxurious home, and feel a deep emptiness in his chest. All the wealth in the world couldn't save her, and he felt completely powerless. The mansion, once a symbol of his success, had now become a reminder of his helplessness. He spent his nights pacing the halls, consumed by thoughts of how quickly his life was slipping out of his control. There was nothing he could do to help the one person he loved the most, but little did he know that something was about to change. One particularly stormy evening, as Ethan returned home, he noticed something strange. The passenger side door of his luxury car was slightly ajar, and there was movement inside. His heart raced with concern. Had someone tried to break into his car? With a furrowed brow, he approached the vehicle, only to find an unexpected sight. A small, frail girl, no older than 8, was curled up on the back leather seat, shivering in her torn clothes. Ethan froze, trying to process what he was seeing. "Who are you? How did you get in here?" he asked, his voice a mix of confusion and anger. The little girl startled awake. Her eyes were wide with fear, and she trembled as she whispered, "I'm sorry. I just needed somewhere dry." Ethan's anger began to dissipate as he looked at her. The child was clearly homeless, desperate, and vulnerable. Something inside him shifted. Despite the confusion, he couldn't bring himself to send her back into the storm. After a brief pause, he made a decision he didn't fully understand. "Come inside," Ethan said softly, surprising himself with his own kindness. The girl blinked in disbelief, but didn't argue. She quietly followed him into his mansion, a place of grandeur that seemed to overwhelm her. As Ethan led the girl through the massive front doors, she seemed both fascinated and terrified by the unfamiliar surroundings. The polished floors, high ceilings, and sparkling chandeliers were completely foreign to her. The mansion, a place Ethan had once been proud of, now felt almost alien, even to him. The staff, startled by the sight of the young girl, quickly sprang into action. Ethan asked one of the maids to prepare a warm meal and give the girl fresh clothes. But as the maid reached for the girl's hand to lead her upstairs, Ethan stopped her. "I'll take her," he said, surprising himself. He had no idea why he felt so compelled to care for this child, but he did. He led her to a guest bedroom, trying to make her feel safe in the midst of this overwhelming place. "What's your name?" Ethan asked gently, hoping to start a conversation. The girl hesitated, then whispered, "Lily." Later that night, after tucking Lily in, Ethan felt a strange pull to go check on his wife, Sophia. She had been bedridden for months, and nothing seemed to make a difference. But tonight, something felt different. He whispered to Sophia, I found a little girl in the car today. She was sleeping there, out in the rain. To his surprise, Sophia responded in a faint voice. You should help her, Ethan, she whispered. Ethan froze, taken aback. He hadn't expected Sophia to be so alert, given her condition. Her words lingered in his mind as he sat beside her, holding her frail hand. Could it be that this girl was the answer to their struggles? It felt like a faint hope flickering in his heart, but it was enough to keep him going. In the days that followed, Lily became a quiet yet constant presence in the mansion. She didn't speak much and always kept to herself, but Ethan couldn't help but notice the subtle changes that began to take place. She spent most of her time near Sophia's room, sitting by her side or quietly reading aloud to her. There was a calmness in the way she was able to soothe Sophia, even though she was so young. At first, Ethan thought nothing of it. After all, Lily was just a child, and Sophia was naturally curious about her. But then something extraordinary began to happen. Ethan saw how Sophia's mood started to improve whenever Lily was around. The stormy, withdrawn atmosphere that had consumed their home seemed to lift when Lily sat by Sophia's bedside. It was as if this little girl had a calming influence on Sophia, something no amount of medicine could provide. Ethan found himself observing them, his heart swelling with emotions he couldn't explain. Weeks went by, and something miraculous began to unfold before Ethan's eyes. Sophia, once pale and weak, started to regain color. Her energy levels, once non-existent, began to improve. She was no longer confined to her bed, and her laughter, once silenced by pain, began to fill the house again. Ethan couldn't believe it. The doctors had been baffled by Sophia's sudden recovery, unable to offer any explanation for the rapid turnaround. But Ethan knew, deep down, he believed it was Lily, the little girl who had wandered into their lives, that had caused this change. It was a kind of healing Ethan had never thought possible, and it didn't come from medical science, but from something far deeper. For the first time in months, Ethan allowed himself to believe in the possibility of miracles. He found himself watching Lily and Sophia from a distance, his heart full of gratitude and wonder. One evening, Ethan returned home earlier than expected, eager to see how Sophia was doing. As he walked through the grand mansion, he noticed something strange. The house, which had once been so silent and heavy with sorrow, was now filled with the sound of soft laughter. Ethan was drawn to the sound, and when he opened the door to Sophia's room, he was speechless. Sophia, sitting up in bed with a glowing complexion, was laughing, truly laughing. She was holding Lily's hand, her eyes sparkling with life. It was a sight Ethan hadn't seen in months. Sophia turned to him, her eyes filled with joy. Ethan, I feel better. I don't understand how, but I feel alive again. Ethan stood frozen in the doorway, his heart racing. What was happening here? How could a little girl have such an impact on his wife's recovery? The doctors had failed to provide any solutions, but this girl, this unexpected visitor, seemed to have brought light back into Sophia's life. But as quickly as Lily had entered their lives, she was ready to leave. One evening, after sharing a quiet moment with Sophia, Lily told Ethan, I have to go now. I was only meant to help. My time here is over. Ethan was shocked. No, you can't leave. You've healed her. You've changed everything. We need you. But Lily shook her head, her eyes filled with sadness. You don't need me anymore. She's better now. I've done what I came here to do. Ethan was frantic. He didn't want her to go, but Lily, with a calm expression, walked toward the door. I'm sorry, she said softly. I never meant to stay this long. And just like that, she was gone. In the days that followed, Sophia continued to improve, her health continuing to baffle the doctors. Ethan, however, couldn't stop thinking about Lily. Who was she? Where had she come from? And why had she left so suddenly? Despite his deep need for answers, Ethan realized that some questions don't need answers. Some things in life are meant to remain mysteries, and maybe that's okay. Lily had come into their lives for a reason, and her presence, even if brief, had changed everything. As months passed, Ethan and Sophia's life slowly returned to normal. The mansion, once filled with sorrow, was now alive with laughter and joy. Ethan kept the memory of Lily close to his heart, but he never spoke of her to anyone. How could he explain the unexplainable? Ethan had learned that sometimes the most powerful changes in life come from the most unexpected places, and though Lily was no longer with them, her impact remained forever in their hearts. Before we conclude, we'd love to hear from you. Have you ever encountered a stranger who changed your life in some way? Could this story be the spark that inspires you to help someone in need? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video if it moved you and share it with someone who might need to hear this message. This incredible story reminds us that sometimes miracles happen when we least expect them. Could Lily have been an angel sent to heal, or was she simply a kind-hearted child who brought light in the darkest of times? Either way, her presence transformed Ethan and Sophia's lives in a way that words can hardly express. Personally, I believe that some miracles don't need explanations. Life works in mysterious ways, and we are often blessed with answers in the most unexpected forms. If this story inspired you, make sure to subscribe to Life Tells Stories for more life-changing stories. Like the video, share it with your friends, and leave a comment below. Remember, kindness can change the world. Until next time, stay kind, stay hopeful, and take care. Goodbye.